Welcome to a special video series that we're kind of going to do. This is going to be a kind of a bit of a live watch, live commentary, live reaction of a film today, and then a couple more films. We're going to be watching and reacting to the three recent Zack Snyder DC films, starting today with Man of Steel, and then doing Batman vs Superman, the Ultimate Edition, and then the Snyder Cut that came out recently. So we're gonna watch them, react to them. So to kind of give a bit of an introduction, I remember when I was a kid, I really wanted to see this. It was like the next big DC project after the Dark Knight trilogy had kind of wrapped up, and for me and for a lot of other kids and for Jack as well, like that was kind of almost like probably the most major definitive DC series that we had.
Yeah, the Dark Knight trilogy was definitely like I loved it.
We had Spider-Man, and that we had that for like Marvel, and the MCU was just kind of starting out and was getting really good. But that was kind of it. So then it was the creative talent involved. When I was a kid, I really loved 300 and Watchmen, so I was fine with Zack as a choice for director. I even liked Sucker Punch, so I wasn't put off by that or anything. So, and the marketing was amazing. I want to give credit as well. The marketing department for the first three films really sold them well.
Yeah,
even if they didn't always deliver
trailers for the films, I want to meet that person because they did such a great job at making them look good. I mean, I enjoyed all of them. Well, okay, obviously not 2017's Justice League, but the rest of them I enjoyed, and I think the marketing played a role in that because I really was prime, because there's one sequence in this film specifically that just stays with me, and I think it's because they made a thing of it in the marketing.
The flight.
Yes, the flight. Superman flying for the first time. Like I am excited to watch that scene again.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I talk about the first three films, I'm also talking about like Suicide Squad as well, which also had great trailers, but obviously didn't turn out very well. I was super pumped to see it. And then before Man of Steel came out, saw the reviews for it, and my heart kind of sank to the point where I didn't even watch it for a couple of days. But then, I went to see it, I watched it, and despite some problems, I remember kind of enjoying myself. But then afterwards, it was a mixture of personal feelings and being a bit inundated with a lot of these annoying, stupid internet reviewers who just labeled it like worst movie ever or whatever. And, that played a part in kind of changing my opinion. But there were other things that I didn't like about the film on first view. As the universe started being created, and as the later films started coming out, it's like my opinion kind of shifted for the worse, but also shifted for the better. Like it shifted for the worst in the sense that even more didn't like BVS, and it made me reflect more negatively on Man of Steel. But also seeing the worst examples of what this universe can create in terms of films also made me appreciate this one a lot more, for being, similarly to the good ones in this series, being something that the director actually envisioned rather than just a studio meddled with product, that was just thrown out there just to kind of appease people. And then I had a bit of a re-reflection on these movies and stuff, and it's made me want to rewatch them and see how I feel about them, at least on the Snyder ones, because there are plenty of other ones that I know I like and other ones that I know I don't want to watch again. But the Snyder ones I want to rewatch and see what I think.
This is a film that I remember enjoying the first time. I mean, it's not what Christopher Reeve's Superman is, and I think that will always be the standard. But I think for a modern take of Superman, this did a good job and took some risks. There are problems, and I'm sure we'll react to them while we're watching, but I think it was a nice version of a modern take on it.
I'll say the musical score for this film is excellent. I think it's definitely, I think it's just as good as Dark Knight trilogy for Hans Zimmer.
Yeah,
especially this music. This really builds you. It kind of builds your anticipation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already kind of excited. I've seen it already.
Yeah, particularly that doom doom music. Yeah, the opening on Krypton is kind of silly, but this is a really good starting point, I feel.
Yeah. The creatures get a feel for kind of the birth as well.
I like the costume design apart from the council. I don't like their costumes.
No. Good ending for Zod.
It's not the best dialogue, but I like how it kind of it implies history between Zod and Jor-El, you know, kind of, which I don't think has often been done in Superman adaptations.
I don't know if I like Jor-El being such a warrior. It kind of seems a bit only the kind of whole scientist thing, rather than hope bit that he's all about.
Oh god, I love this shot. This is a really damn good shot.
Yeah.
Watching the destruction on Earth Krypton.
It gives you enough scale to distract you from the kind of weaknesses with the CGI around his face. Like you can see some clipping, but
yeah,
the scale is enough.
But damn, this score slaps.
Yeah, this is a good score. I really, really like the score. Sure, they do a lot of these digital zooms. I think it does give you an impression of speed. I don't know if it quite works here.
Yeah, I think the zooms are fine during like flying. I mean, they're mostly used during like the sequences where something's flying, so I think it works fine there.
I remember, like, you know, I'm not sure if I liked it with the creature. A bit weird because it was almost like the creature was too big for the zoom to properly work.
Okay, yeah.
Just the framing felt a bit odd.
Yeah. I never really had an issue with the handheld camera work. This didn't come out at a good time for like shaky cam, but I think that it's like, at least with here, I can understand it's a stylistic choice, and you know, either it'll work for you or it won't. But I think it works fine. I always like it when stuff like that is applied to grand sci-fi, almost bringing a bit of a realism to it.
I find it interesting that the whole genetic matrix is based on a corrupted skull. That's interesting. Like, that's what their codex is, the whole genetic matrix. That works. I like that in there.
It is a bit silly, yeah, but like this action, I'm like, wow, this action is really solid.
It's just a bit. I don't know. I feel like we could have had him get the codex a different way that might have felt a bit more, I don't know, in character for him.
Maybe. No.
Pause.
I forgot that there was this moment in the first time around. This kind of scene of them conversing.
I quite like it, actually. It's a good, feels like a genuine argument you'd have, and
because people criticize that there weren't enough like humane, quiet moments, but this is like it's in the first 15 minutes. We already have this major one. We know that there's going to be an action bit later on, but like they are taking the time to kind of treat this, you know, to kind of let us understand what this is like, even though we don't know these versions of Jor-El and Laura
that well.
I do think this could have been extended a bit, maybe. Just by like 5 or 10 minutes, I think. But, you know, for what it is, I think it works.
See, I think this is the biggest problem with the action. The action really does undercut this humane moment a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, it is still a bit based in emotion because he is defending his home, essentially. He's defending, and his son.
No, yeah, he is, but I feel like playing that more quietly would have worked better.
He's fighting Zod to save his son. I love this uniform that he wears, Jor-El. Yeah, Michael Shannon is playing it subtly, but he's going to go crazy in a moment. Heresy! Destroy it! Destroy it! Oh, damn, this music is fucking amazing. Jesus.
Yeah, it is.
The theme is just good. This is way more exhilarating than I remember it being.
It's rare, there's so much tension because you know that if Zod wins this fight, that is Superman done for. And even though you know that's not going to happen, it still feels epic. And I think Michael Shannon's, as you called it, going crazy, helped to sell that danger.
Yeah, the handheld fight wasn't that great, but still exhilarating, I think. Go fuck yourself, Zod.
In fair, that choice there just settles that Superman is the future of Krypton, and that works nicely.
Yeah, I remember not liking this moment when I originally saw it. Now I'm surprised. At first I thought that his reaction was a bit too weak for being stabbed, but now actually it's a fairly good reaction. It makes sense.
Yeah, you just get that bit of confusion and then the...
Oh my god, you stabbed me. I like the use of zoom in that instance. That was a very good use of crash zooming.
You know, upon reflection, this is the best thing that could have happened to Zod.
Almost, yeah, almost. Sent to the Phantom Zone and then come back. Yeah, he kills it here, doesn't he? He's going to say his famous line. You're a curse for sure. Black hole. I will find him. Say that one more time for the boys in the back. He's just having fun, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he is hamming it up a bit. To be fair, at least we know what his goal is.
Yeah.
A bit clumsily done, but we've got his goal very, very clearly.
Yeah, I don't like that design. That looks too phallic for me.
No, it's the penis ships. Fine with them, but I see the point.
Yeah. It's just, I think for the very serious tone, it takes you out of it a little bit. And the sequence earns it. It earns being serious, but despite the kind of sci-fi nature of it, it's just a couple of moments like that are a bit like, yeah, the third one's way more gripping than I gave it credit for.
I like the Phantom Zone design as well, actually.
Yeah, they're not in a mirror, like in Superman 2 or anything, or even in the first Superman.
No, I mean I didn't mind the mirror in the first Superman, but I did like the Phantom Zone there. It felt a lot more dangerous.
Kingpin's girlfriend does a really good job in this brief bit that she has. In all these brief scenes, I thought she did really well.
She's a very talented actress, and I like her in most things she's in.
Yeah, I saw her in like Angels and Demons before this film. But like in this scene, I think she plays it really well.
It's just quiet acceptance at this point, which is
I think it's emotional. I'm not sure why the Krypton Council didn't try and prevent it, but I think that was probably the point, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think
and that they couldn't even if they tried. I think this is a very creative cut coming up.
Yeah. That's a good cut, actually. The sound covering that is really good.
Yeah, it's kind of it's jarring, but in a good way, I feel.
Yeah, well, it jets you out, and it should, because
you kind of know upon seeing that, like, that's Clark. You just know. A bit of ironic humor, because he would have been fine.
Which is why he didn't care. But you get the kind of sense of how Sparky.
Yeah, I love it. Imagine being greeted by that. Every shirtless man who's on fire, but fine.
I mean, you'd probably follow it.
I love how like some people complain that Superman didn't save enough people in this movie, but his first on-screen action is saving people. He even is kind of preventing a bit of collateral damage.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of collateral damage, but a lot of it happens, especially here. He couldn't be good.
Yeah, and not a lot of people like the structure of this film, but actually, I kind of like I'm fine with it in this instance.
I don't get why he's remembering this. I mean, it gives us insight into his life. I know that, but
yeah, it's almost like he's reflecting on the first time he found his powers. Maybe it's like I've done all of this, and this is when I first felt it.
Happening. I just don't understand why. But this is effective for showing how Superman is so.
Yeah, kind of. It's like he can see and hear absolutely everything. It's like it's like sensory overload.
Yeah, no, I think this is actually really good.
I mean, the film does throw a lot at you, but I think that in this scene, it's definitely one of the best instances. It's almost kind of immediately telling you, like, no, Superman is not a power fantasy. This would be horrifying for a kid to have all the power in the world.
Yeah, and it also sets up why the relationship between him and Martha Kent is so good. Like, it's so good. Like, it really shows how Superman grew up to be the kind of like the hero that he is.
Yeah. Because he was raised well by the Kents, And some people think that Aquaman sent those whales. I mean, he might have done, maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I just found that quite a nice scene. I liked that.
This is a bit Snyder-esque, the use of music, isn't it?
I don't really think it works.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm just not. I mean, it's fine, but like, it just seems like a random song.
Yeah. I mean, I think it fits the visuals. I see what you mean. The transition wasn't the best, but I think it makes sense. Kind of fits the oh shit, now I've got to find some fucking clothes. But again, I mean, it's a bit of a Zack Snyder trait, his use of his soundtrack.
Yeah. Well, I think it could work really, really well, and I'm not sure what I feel about it here.
I like this reflection as well. Bus triggers the memory,
Yeah, no, this memory I get.
It's like God hated that insult. The insult of Dick Splash. So he decided, fuck it, I'm going to kill all of you kids. That one bullies thing.
It's not even a good insult, it's the worst part. I don't like the shaky cam here.
it's a bit too much, a little bit too much, I think.
I get the intention, I just don't like the execution of it.
There has been a bit too much action so far. It's feel a bit back to back, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it does show Clark saving people, which I like.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's a little bit overload. We can see it more gradually. I think.
It's still. I like this moment, especially the music. Again, it's almost establishing like, yeah, this guy is a hero. He does want to sell. He does want to help people. Yeah, and this moment I love too as well. Goes back to save the bully.
Yeah,
the bully could have just been left to drown, but you know he left. He went back, saved him.
That in a nutshell just kind of gets to the heroic side of Superman.
It brings up an interesting dilemma, doesn't it? Like he did the right thing, but you know he could have exposed himself. You know.
Yeah, and he's getting treated a bit like a freak. It does do it.
Yeah, that is special. You know.
It gets to the complexity of it, doesn't it?
What was I supposed to do? Let him die?
Yeah, I like that because I kind of noticed the way he delivers the line. He doesn't sound sure, does he, when he says maybe?
Yeah, he's just there like, I have no idea what you were meant to do.
And this is what he's sure about. It's almost like he's trying to get past the argument and get to the point, you know.
Yeah, which is, I want to keep you safe, Sam.
That was a quote from Batman Begins as well, you know, wasn't it? People are afraid of what they don't understand.
Yeah, Falcone.
Tell me.
I think the child acting in this movie is really good. The kids who play young Clark do very well, I feel.
Yeah.
Because they're very emotionally intense scenes, and I think they pull it off.
They balance them really well. I really like these scenes with young Clark.
We have to make a choice. A choice of whether to stand proud in front of the human race or not.
It's kind of the theme, isn't it? You know, choice.
Pretending I'm your son.
I mean, this is really getting to Jesus.
Yeah.
I like that. I love that moment.
Yeah. This is a very emotional sequence. It's a bit exposition-y, you know, but it's not. But there is emotion behind it. There is, you know, there is character behind Jonathan Kent, you know.
Oh, here we go. This is the thing I don't like.
Oh, you didn't like this scene?
It just. I'll get into it in a minute.
Yeah. And that trucker is a bit stereotypical, but
I mean, yeah, that is annoying. That's not my major issue with it.
What? Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't taunt somebody who looks that ripped.
Yeah. Okay, I like that moment. That's fine.
Yeah. No, I think this is very Superman. Like, yeah, he has all the power in the world, but he's willing to hold back, you know, when he needs to. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I really want to beat the shit out of this guy, but he'll probably die. And you know, yeah. Is it this moment that you don't like?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just feel it's a bit out of character for Superman. I mean, don't get wrong. I would absolutely want to react to something like this, but it just seems.
I feel like he should have just not given in at all.
Yeah, I just don't. Well, not even that. I just don't think he would have done it like that in such an obvious way because he's trying to not be the most obvious guy in the world. I mean, I know he went in and saved some people, but that was like a desperate thing. And we've got the theme of trying to keep himself secret now, and that just blows it.
Fairly early into the film, when we're getting this scene where Clark is going to discover stuff, you know. Oh, hey, and there he is. I didn't even notice he was there first time.
I don't want to know how Clark gets all these jobs.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, he's Superman. Like, he can be good at anything, can't he?
Well, yeah. I like that this was set up well in the scene before, though. That they'd be there.
So if we're done measuring dicks, you have your people show me what you found.
Yeah, it establishes Lois Lane, this version of Lois Lane, well, is just a hard ass who will just do anything she needs, you know, anything she wants to.
Which is exactly what Lois Lane is, so it covers Lois.
I have to be honest, the storytelling here is very efficient, you know, I feel like it's giving us... Like, I wouldn't call it rushed, particularly. It's fairly fast, and it's giving us what we need, you know?
Exposition quickly in a way that feels natural, so it feels...
It's not the best exposition, but I do feel like the pacing is strong enough to where you are at least a bit, like, invested. And you understand what's going on. You do understand, like, you understand Lois Lane, why she's motivated, and... Well, you understand that she's motivated, and you understand why Clark is motivated as well, you know?
Sure, I love that this has got no grain. Like, even in a lot of films, I find they've still got like grain in the night scenes. I just love that this doesn't. Like, visually, it does work. And I also like that Lois kind of gets to, just with her instincts, goes, "Oh, there's something up with this picture." Immediately, it just shows she's done this before.
Yeah, she could catch Bigfoot with those skills, couldn't she?
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe it's Clark. Maybe Bigfoot's Clark.
Yeah, I mean, I do have in BVS. I did have some problems with how like Lois Lane was incorporated, but here I think this works very well. This film entirely, I think it's the best usage of her, probably in live action. Yeah, that's a good transition as well. The light shining and then that's very solid. Yeah, I do think maybe a few more scenes with Clark on his own before he makes this discovery would have helped a bit.
Yeah.
Scenes are good, like we understand it. Just maybe a couple more scenes, you know.
Establishing exactly who he is. So we've got an impression, but we don't have a picture.
Yeah, I think that's why the flight scene is fairly good because it's a scene that he gets all to himself, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of understand how he feels, you know.
I like these scenes like, oh, that hurt me. Okay.
I think it was kind of smart though to do not to do the Nikon shot. That was a bit much, but anyway, I think it was kind of smart to keep Russell Crowe in the rest of the film.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was a really good decision. So it's a good exposition device while it also gets the.
It shows like Jor-El as well because it is Jor-El. You know, it's basically his spirit just with some sci-fi stuff. We're seeing the discovery for both of them. You know, we're seeing both of them are discovering stuff that they've never seen before.
I mean, Lois is like, wow, a completely alien thing, and Clark is kind of recognizing stuff like, this sort of looks like my old ship, and it's sort of home, and I like that. And there's Zack Snyder. I do actually quite like his gothic imagery, though, as much as I'm making fun of it.
Yeah. Yeah, not a good idea.
Yeah. I like we see the difference between what it did to Lois and what it did to Clark. I like we see like Clark kind of went, oh, that hurt a bit. Well, flying across the room, the same hit.
Not particularly romantic first meeting, but you know, he did save her life.
It worked, it saved her life, yeah. And you do get a moment of connection where they're looking at each other, which I think is really, really nice.
Yeah. I mean, for as action heavy and as information-y as this film is, I do think it stops every now and then to at least give us these moments. I feel like it's gripping, like I'm not bored at all.
See, I like that shit. That's some dramatic irony for later. Damn that, Scotch to be fair to her.
Almost touching on like conspiracy theorist stuff, you know. It's kind of like, what if that was real? That's kind of what a lot of sci-fi movies don't they? They kind of validate the conspiracy theorists.
They do. It's part of the appeal. It's like, it'd be fun if they were real, so a movie just does it. It's the whole process.
Who knows, aliens could exist, you know, yeah.
Yeah, not as good as Darth Vader, but I'll take it.
I like this reaction from him.
Yeah. You can just see him get happy to know what his actual name is.
Space exploration event.
I also like that this argues against artificial population control.
It's kind of pro-humanity, isn't it?
It's actually quite hopeful.
It's explained some stuff that we've seen, but other stuff that we haven't. So as a result, I think this exposition scene is fine. It's important for him to know this as well.
Predetermined role in our society as a worker, warrior, leader, so.
The detail I like as well. We've seen that Clark can have plenty of jobs, and you know they're saying people on Krypton were born and bred for certain purposes.
Yeah, so you could already see.
He can have multiple purposes.
Just existing.
Yeah, you can have multiple jobs like a human can. I don't think this is a dark movie at all. I think it's like, I mean, it's serious, but it's not like dark and bleak. I don't feel.
Oh, I mean, that statement kind of was. Where it's like, yeah, we were genetic failures. Oh, okay.
I like the stuff that Jor-El was saying. The problem that I do have is that, again, because there's not a lot more scenes with Clark, it does slightly feel like he is just being given this stuff. Would have helped it feel more like a character journey. Whereas it does just sort of like he's just being given all of this, you know.
Stuff, yeah. But I do like him saying, you know, oh, this is the symbol of hope. That's what you... Yeah, I mean, it kind of gives Clark... I think Clark's a bit passive. I think that's partly the problem.
He is kind of passive in this first act, especially, but I mean, I understand it though. It's like we've seen what he had in his childhood, and now we're seeing what he discovers as an adult. I think just an extension of that would have worked.
The suit looks amazing.
Yeah. The entire like first couple of trailers are all about this scene. Yeah.
Like cool stuff.
And music, awesome in the scene. It's almost like this is like the climax, in a sense. Like it's almost like we're seeing the climax of one story, and then, I mean, not entirely because obviously he hasn't perfected this fly.
No, but it's like it is a really strong end of an act because it almost feels like its own. Each act is its own story. I think this film does work like that though, and I like that actually.
Yeah, this is a very, very Jor-El speech, isn't it? You know, yeah, he is embracing his destiny in a sense.
You notice that he kind of just at some point shaved. He's being on that.
Yeah, he did.
The sonic boom gives such a feeling of power.
Yeah, I have to be honest. This film is so far. I honestly do feel like this film is full of a lot of really powerful, effective sequences. I mean, that's something that's kind of underrated about Zack Snyder as a director.
Yeah, like the man knows sequences. I think his biggest problem is connecting them.
Yeah, like he knows how to make a sequence itself effective, you know. And even though the structuring of these scenes isn't the best, I feel like the scenes themselves are really strong. Like this scene especially is like great.
It's fantastic. Like you always get to feel like you're flying with him. You're not just watching him. And I like.
Yeah, excellent sound design as well.
And after watching this scene, you'll certainly believe a man can fly.
It's almost like we're revisiting scenes that we've already seen in a like symbolic sense.
I really like that.
Yeah, even just this little moment, it's like, oh hey, the bully grew up to be a decent guy. You know, like he grew up to just be like a nerdy-looking dude.
It seemed fairly normal. Oh, I like what they did with the hair and the sound. That was nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The way you could disappear for good is to stop helping people altogether, and I sense that's not an option for you.
Yeah, people say he doesn't like saving people. Lois literally says that that's not an option. Not saving people is not an option for you. And yeah, that's true. Yeah. I thought this scene happened much later than it actually did.
Family's been farming for 5 generations. Sure, man. How do you know why I'm listening to
He plays young Clark quite well, actually.
Yeah, he actually does. Even though he's, like the same age, it's like, yeah, he does pretty well.
I buy he's like teenager or early 20s. Get the moment to apologise either.
Yeah. Bullshit, yeah, that dog's gonna cause his death, isn't it? Yeah, we even see like Jonathan Kent is himself trying to be a hero, isn't he?
Oh, well, he just is a good man. You shouldn't.
Like, he might not be the best at encouraging Clark to be a hero, but he himself is a heroic guy, you know.
To be honest, that was really dumb of him to not just let Clark do it. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I think he just didn't thought it would be too risky.
It works character wise, but it just Clark would have run a little bit faster than normal. It would have seemed like athletic ability.
I think this moment is kind of important. Again, it is showing that Jonathan Kent is doing what he can.
Yeah. And it is also, shows how strongly he believes in the whole secret part.
It gave me chills, I'll be honest. I'm feeling chills just from like that moment. Some people thought he was doing the wrong thing. I don't know. I think he did the right thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at it, Clark wouldn't have been able to get over there and back in time.
And it would have been much worse as well. Yeah, a good subtle touch that Amy Adams does, looking kind of sad at that story.
Yeah, that was really nice. Cool. Oh, that reporter's a dick. I like that though.
It's kind of interesting. Like Perry's able to kind of see through her lies.
Let's make it since you're so willing to agree with me.
I like that line. Since you're so willing to agree with me. Yeah, I do think it's a bit of a switch. I'm not a huge fan of that kind of switch that Perry does in that scene. I mean, it makes sense. I just think it seems a bit of a weird switch, doesn't it? You know, to go from like so pissed off to then being like cold and serious. You know.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit odd.
Well, yeah.
Oh, I like just how happy that scene is of him coming back.
Yeah.
I like that Martha kind of plays it happily here.
Yeah. Yeah, I get the point because she just wants him to be happy above all else, you know. And he has come back to her, so he hasn't like said go fuck yourself, Martha, you know.
No, but you can also see she's a touch upset.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think she's overwhelmed. You know, she's both happy and kind of like. It's going to come up in a moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah, it's always coming out now, isn't it? You know, it's just it's kind of sad when BBS, you know, comes around, isn't it? This moment, yeah. But it's a really good moment on its own. You know? I love how certain people try to say this movie lacked heart. This movie does not lack heart at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is when the film kind of transitions into more of an alien invasion movie. You know, it's had those vibes beforehand, but this time they're really revealing like, no, this is the genre that
we're going with
it's embracing. You know,
and this is just going. Oh, okay. I guess this is Zod.
Yeah.
I like that Lois has always got a pencil on her.
Oh, yeah.
Just always ready to go. Good little character detail and costume.
Good crash scene there showing his vision.
Yeah, that was cool. That amateur footage was great.
Yeah, good music cut as well with the lights turning off.
Kind of want to see Bruce Wayne's reaction to this now.
What was he thinking during this time?
Yeah.
The creative little details, not in English in everything. It's like different language in certain places, you know.
Yeah.
That feels like a bit of a subtle touch, you know.
It just feels very, very, like alien technology kind of like, and how superior they are.
Yeah, it feels more alien with him wearing the mask as well. Not exactly. He's going to destroy Earth either way.
It's dumb that that's his plan once he realizes that you get superpowers.
It plays well with the theme of choice, you know. The theme that like it's almost like that's a false choice, whereas every choice that Superman is faced with is kind of more genuine, you know.
Yeah.
Ooh, what a dick. Yeah, she probably shouldn't have given information to him because he was so willing to turn away. It kind of almost switches to like a spy conspiracy movie, kind of just in this brief little bit, which makes sense. That's what it would be.
Yeah, exactly. I like that she's got all the pride. Like, yeah, I got away from the FBI. But it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the use of handheld kind of works here as well.
Yeah, like for this bit, it does work.
I know some idiots called this scene like too symbolic, but I quite like this scene.
No, I like it. To be fair, I mean, I actually love the symbolism in Zack Snyder films. Like,
Yeah, kind of.
Nice to get. Like, I like.
Yeah, this is a very important scene. Actually, it's a bit cliche, but it's very important. I think.
Very important. I think this scene should be here. It just
makes sense. If a bunch of bullies knew about him, then I think they probably would do that. You know.
Right, I like that his dad's just there. Like, yeah, let's go with it. And they chicken out. And it helps him out.
Yeah, he's actually become his friend. You know, that's kind of That's a bit of a good, clever juxtaposition. You know, isn't it?
I love that they just leave that shot in to be like, yeah, he could have killed them.
Yeah, you can tell he wanted to, but you know, like he's not going on his whole secret thing. He's more just saying like it's more like morality. It's like you're going to change the world either way, but you should try and be a good person whilst you're doing it. I think that does like come back later on, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah, it does.
It's coming in here as well. You know, it's like he's being. It's like, does he give himself up or not? I wonder if the priest like actually thinks that he's just bullshitting and is just playing along with him. You know, yeah, he's got a point. He's like he doesn't know who to trust really. He's seen the good and the bad side of humanity.
I kind of like that.
It's like you gotta make a decision based on just instinct. You know, sometimes.
I also love that this is the response to a flying man in the sky because I feel like it would be.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
This makes sense.
It's almost like that's a test as well, because he knows they have her.
Yeah, so it's almost like to see. I'm glad they cut that line off. That would have been so dumb.
Mm-hmm. If she had given him his name, yeah. I like him in this scene. I think this is definitely, in the entire film, this is probably the most traditionally Superman that he behaves, I think. Like, everything, you can imagine Superman doing this in any continuity.
Because, like, he's not resisting them, but he's also going, I could.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, but, like, I'm making the decisions here, aren't I?
Oh, you get that inspiring leadership thing there. Lois and Superman's relationship was a bit fast.
Yeah. No, I don't. I kind of like it. I like the way it's being done here. It's almost like she's kind of his one true friend, you know.
I don't dislike it. I just would have liked to see more scenes between them before we got to here.
Okay, I thought they had enough scenes together, you know. It's kind of clear, like, they're not, like, going for it yet, but they kind of know there's something there, you know.
Well, I didn't need it to be romantic. I like the idea that they were just friends.
I'm a little bit split between Cavill's more, like, serious, stoic kind of take. I think it works in some scenes. It works very well. In other scenes, I think a bit more liveliness could have helped.
I mean, I think the Batman comparisons are a bit unfair.
I like the nods back as well. That's kind of funny.
That's just a nice shot, reaction shot used
Yeah.
there. I buy the connection between them. It just feels a little bit fast.
Yeah.
I suppose he saved your life already. Where'd you go from there?
Oh, I missed that moment. I forgot that they. Oh yeah. Oh, he was handing it to her.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
But still, I mean, makes sense. Yeah. I actually like the use of lens flares in this film.
I like that you get to see the Kryptonian energy can really just screw them up. Then it sets it up as a weakness. I really like that moment. But there's
Yeah, a little bit. I think it shows that Zod actually does have compassion. I think there's a bit too much exposition in this film. Like a bit too much.
There definitely is.
It's a really good shot. Oh, a black suit. Yeah, very nightmarish visual. Yeah. That's kind of the theme, isn't it? Like, choice in impossible situations is when you're thrust into a situation where that's impossible, that you just can't get out of, you know? And what do you do? Almost like it's like General Zod is like, he's like a robot that's bred to do what he has to do. He has emotions like a human being, but he also is like an alien, you know?
Still,
those emotions.
Superman is the embodiment of free will versus determination. That's what this film is.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. It is very much like that. I like the Lois is the one in charge in this scene.
Yeah, I kind of like that she gets to kind of take point. You don't really see much in a Superman film, so.
Yeah, like you mean just a full action scene dedicated to her, you know?
Yeah, I just like that she kind of goes, "Do you want? No, I'm going to save Superman." It's just a nice role reversal. That.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is how the sequence ends.
Start a conversation. Human compatibility.
Oh,
Good stuff.
Now, there actually are a lot more crash zooms than I remembered, and I remember noticing the crash zooms first time around. It's interesting that this is one of the few Zack Snyder films that doesn't have a director's cut. I wonder what a director's cut would look like. I think the reason why is because he didn't have that much to remove from this film.
those scenes didn't need one. This scene is great.
Yeah, I like it. I do like it. I think we're building up to a payoff that we're going to get in a moment.